Alright, buenos dias, que paso, you guys, welcome back. We are gonna go check out a Ducati Monster. I've never owned a Ducati, never even ridden a Ducati before, and so if this pans out, this will be the first on the channel. And yeah, stay tuned, let's check it out. Hopefully everything checks out. Oh, what up, you guys? All right, so today's definitely a day of firsts. I told you it was the first time I was gonna go look at a Ducati, ride one, and or buy one. Well, I didn't buy the Ducati. I didn't even get to ride the Ducati, but this was the first time this has ever happened to me, so I'll tell you what it was. So just to recap, I was gonna go look at a 2009 Ducati Monster, only had about 3,500 miles. The dude was asking $4,000 initially. And the first time I saw it, it needed a new battery. I offered him $3,000, said I'll buy a battery, go replace it, and buy the bike. To which he responded, said the battery is actually pretty complicated to replace. I looked up a video on YouTube, and sure enough, you got to take the gas tank off just to get the battery removed. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna hold off. He reached out, got back to me a day or two later, said we took it to the dealership, they're replacing the battery and fluids, and the lowest we'll take is $3,500 since we just had all that done. I said, cool, I'll do that. And they asked when I wanted to come see it, said a few other people were interested. We arranged for me to look at it today at noon. So I went out there to look at the bike. It was in an apartment complex just behind the gate in like a gated community. I roll up, meet the seller. I'm walking over to the bike, and as I'm walking over to the motorcycle to look at it, another guy comes walking through the gate. The seller looks at him, says, hey, you're here to look at the bike also? And he's like, yeah, I'm here too. And at that point I'm like, oh man, I've had that happen a time or two where I show up and somebody else is there at the same time. I hate it because it just puts everybody in kind of an awkward situation. Anyway, so I kind of stood back. I just let the other guy walk around. I was a little frustrated. I said, well, honestly, I probably wouldn't have come out if I knew somebody else was coming, would have wasted my time. It turns out that the seller had his girlfriend kind of managing the communication because she does Facebook and he doesn't. And so I realized he didn't do that intentionally. It just is kind of how it happened. No harm, no foul. He obviously didn't do it on purpose. So this other guy's looking at the motorcycle and he is leaning towards not buying it. Kept bringing up things like the tires are old and it's going to need this and that. And all of this stuff that he's bringing up, I'm thinking you knew this coming into it because you knew how old the bike was and how low the mileage was. And so that should not be a surprise. I said, hey, I want to be transparent. I buy and sell. And I do my little YouTube channel. So if I buy the bike, it's going to be to buy it, do some videos, and then I'll turn around and either try to make a little bit of money or break even. So if you like the bike and you're thinking about buying it, I don't want to be the one to snake you out of it if I'm just going to turn around and sell it at some point in the future. So at that point, I think the guy was like, oh, okay, maybe it's not that bad. If this dude flips bikes and he's looking at it, then it must be a good deal. And so he's kind of going back and forth. Him and I are talking. He told me he had a Harley Rocker C, you know, we're all just kind of chatting. And then two more people show up together and they come through the gate. It's so funny. This was the most hilarious thing. I was cracking up afterwards. They show up, they walk up, they're like, oh, here's the bike, cool, we like it, man. Here's the cash, can I take it for a quick spin? And they end up taking it for a quick spin and they buy the bike. So I was cracking up because I was like, dude, me and this other guy are sitting here. I was kind of giving him like the, you know, courtesy, hey, if you want it, take it thing. And then these other two just show up, hand him the cash, grab the keys, and they bought it out from under both of us. Now, this other kid had come down from Flagstaff last night. So he drove 2+ hours to come look at it. And so I think it ended up in the right hands. Again, it put me in an awkward position as somebody who's going to buy the bike and flip it. I was like, I'm not going to be that dude. So whatever, if either of those other two guys had wanted it, I was going to let them have it before me because I would just be jacked up. So yeah, that has never happened before. The worst part about it is I still didn't get to test ride the bike. And yeah, I still don't have a Ducati. I've never ridden one ever before. So that Ducati Monster 2009, 3,500 miles, sold for $3,500. Let me know what you guys think. Has that ever happened to you before? Afterwards, talking to the seller and talking to the other two who bought the bike, he was telling me like, dude, I'm an introvert and that was just like the worst situation. I did not plan on having everybody show up at once. I was hoping there'd be some overlap. And you got to remember, not everybody deals with buying and selling stuff like this. So it's totally new to them, the whole coordination and the, you know, basically kind of the rule of thumb when you're selling stuff. So I get it. Like I said at the end, I was like, dude, the laugh I got out of that, no hard feelings. The other dude who didn't get the bike, he was pretty pissed. And I kind of get it, but he was being the most difficult too. Like he's giving him a hard time about the tires and all this other stuff. And like at one point he basically said, I'm not gonna be able to buy it if I don't have like such and such information. And so when these other two kids showed up and just handed him the cash and were ready to roll, I'm like, as a seller, that's who I'm selling the bike to, because they made it as easy as possible. And so I can't blame the dude for taking the, path of least resistance. So that was that was what happened. Still did not get a Ducati, but there is another Ducati that I might look at today or tomorrow. Not a Monster, and so stay tuned. We'll see if that one pans out. It would have been a nice bike. I was excited about it. It would have been good for the Moto Flip project at $3,500. I don't think I would have sold it for more than like 42, 43, so it wouldn't have been like a huge profit necessarily, but still, nice, clean bike, fresh battery, didn't appear to have any issues at all, and I would love to have ridden it and compared it with like the FC07, XSR 700, and some of those other naked Street Fighter bikes in that category. So in that regard, it was a bummer, but like I said, it ended up in the right hands. I wish I would have gotten at least to do a little demo ride on it, man, after all that work, but whatever. All right, you guys, has anything like that ever happened to you? Like and subscribe if you dig it. John's Moto Garage, appreciate the support. You can hit me on Instagram at John's Moto Garage. And I want to do a big shout out to, every now and then I'll have people send me some free swag. Slimeball Nation, they do some like Harley wheelie type gear. And they sent me out a couple shirts and a sweatshirt. So pretty stoked on that. And I think that's about it. We'll catch you on the next one. Adios, nos vemos.